Imagine waking up one day to find your hair growing uncontrollably, faster than you can ever manage. This is the story of Nia, a young girl from a small African village whose life is about to change in the most unimaginable way. In a village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a girl named Nia. Her hair was like no other, a beautiful thick mane that shone in the sunlight and was the envy of everyone who saw it. It cascaded down her back in waves of deep, glossy black, and each strand seemed to shimmer with its own light. People from far and wide would come to see this wonder, praising her parents for such a blessing. But little did Nia know, this very hair would soon become the center of a mystery that no one could explain. It all began on an ordinary morning. Nia woke up, stretched, and felt something strange. Her hair, which had always been long, seemed longer, not just by a little bit, but by several inches. She ran her fingers through it, noticing how it now brushed the floor beside her bed. At first, she thought it was a trick of the light, or perhaps a dream she had not yet fully woken from. But as the days passed, her hair kept growing, faster and faster, and soon it became clear that this was no ordinary growth. The villagers were amazed. Some whispered that it was a gift from the gods, a blessing that made Nia special. Her friends marveled at her long, flowing locks, and even the elders who had seen many seasons in the village had never witnessed anything like it. But Nia knew better. She could feel it deep inside her. This wasn't a blessing, it was a curse. And it was only getting worse. Her hair grew so fast that it started to tangle in everything around her. She couldn't walk without tripping over it. She couldn't sleep without it wrapping around her like a snake, tightening around her body as if it had a mind of its own. Her mother tried cutting it, but no matter how much they trimmed, it just kept growing back, longer and thicker than before. Every morning, it seemed to double in length, twisting and coiling around her room like a living creature. Days turned into weeks, and soon the entire village was talking about Nia and her ever-growing hair. The children would gather around her, wide-eyed, watching in fascination as her hair seemed to grow right before their eyes. The village women, who had once envied her hair, now feared it. They whispered behind her back, afraid that this strange occurrence might bring misfortune upon them all. The elders, wise and respected, gathered to discuss the matter. They had seen many strange things in their time, droughts, floods, and even the appearance of spirits in the night, but nothing like this. They consulted old texts, sought advice from neighboring villages, and even prayed to the ancestors, but no answer came. Finally, they concluded that this must be the work of an ancient curse, a curse tied to the land, or perhaps to something much older. But why? And how could it be stopped? Nia, frightened yet determined, knew she couldn't wait for the answer to come to her. She had to find it herself. And so, with a heavy heart and hair trailing behind her like a river of black silk, she set out on a journey to discover the truth behind the curse that was slowly taking over her life. She would have to leave her village, her family, and everything she knew behind in search of answers. Little did she know, this journey would take her to places she'd never imagined, through enchanted forests, across vast deserts, and into the very heart of ancient magic. Along the way, she would meet people and creatures who would change her forever. She would face dangers that would test her courage, make her question her strength, and reveal hidden parts of herself. But at that moment, all she knew was that she had to keep moving, for if she stopped, the curse would consume her completely. Who or what has cursed Nia, and will she find the answer before it's too late? Stay with us as Nia embarks on the adventure of a lifetime, where every step forward brings her closer to the truth, and to a fate she never could have predicted. With her hair growing more wildly each day, Nia found herself becoming more isolated. The villagers who once admired her beauty now looked at her with fear in their eyes. Even her closest friends began to distance themselves afraid that her curse might somehow spread to them. One day, as Nia sat by the village well, trying to braid her uncontrollable hair, an old woman approached her. This woman, known as Amina, had lived in the village for as long as anyone could remember. She was wise, mysterious, and some said she possessed knowledge of the ancient ways. "Child, do not despair. Your curse is not your fault. There are forces at play here that go beyond what the eye can see." Amina's voice was soft but firm, filled with the weight of wisdom. Nia looked up at the old woman, tears in her eyes. "Why is this happening to me? What have I done to deserve this?" The old woman sat beside Nia, her bony fingers reaching out to touch the girl's hair. As she ran her fingers through the thick, dark strands, her eyes seemed to see something far beyond the physical world. "This curse is ancient, tied to your ancestors. It is said that long ago, your family made a promise to the spirits of the land, a promise that was broken, and now the curse has fallen upon you." Nia's heart sank. She had heard stories of the spirits that roamed the forests and rivers, but she never imagined that such a tale would affect her so personally. Desperation filled her voice as she asked the question that had been haunting her since the curse began. "How can I stop it? How can I break this curse?" Amina's eyes darkened, and she spoke in a low, serious tone. "The journey will be long and perilous. You must leave the village and seek out the Forest of Whispers. There you will find the one who can tell you how to break the curse. But beware, child, for the forest is full of dangers, and not all who enter it return." Nia knew she had no choice. If she stayed in the village, the curse would only continue to grow stronger. With a heavy heart, she thanked Amina and began to prepare for her journey. As Nia packed her belongings, her mother watched with tears in her eyes. She knew that this journey was necessary, but the thought of her daughter facing such dangers filled her with fear. "Be brave, my child, and remember, no matter what happens, you are stronger than you think." Nia hugged her mother tightly, the weight of her hair making the embrace feel even heavier. With one final look at her home, she set off on her journey, her heart filled with both fear and determination. Nia's journey began on a path that led her away from the safety of her village and into the unknown. The Forest of Whispers was said to be a place of great mystery, where the trees themselves whispered secrets, and the spirits of the land watched over all who entered. Her hair, now impossibly long, trailed behind her like a shadow. She had tried to braid it, to bind it with cloth, but nothing could stop its relentless growth. It was as if the curse had a mind of its own, pushing her forward, urging her deeper into the unknown. As she walked, Nia couldn't help but feel the weight of the curse pressing down on her. Every step felt like a battle, and every shadow seemed to hide some unseen danger. But she knew she couldn't turn back. The only way to break the curse was to keep moving forward. After days of walking, Nia finally reached the edge of the Forest of Whispers. The trees towered above her, their branches twisted and gnarled, creating a canopy so thick that barely any light could penetrate. The air was thick with the scent of moss and earth, and the only sounds were the faint whispers of the wind and the distant calls of unseen creatures. With a deep breath, Nia stepped into the forest. The moment she crossed the threshold, she felt a chill run down her spine. It was as if the forest itself was alive, watching her every move. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the whispers grew louder. At first, they were just faint murmurs, barely audible above the rustling leaves. But soon they became clearer, forming words that echoed in her mind. "Who are you, child? What do you seek?" Nia stopped in her tracks, her heart pounding in her chest. She had heard the stories of the forest spirits, but she never imagined they would speak to her so directly. "I am Nia, from the village of Makali. I seek the one who can break the curse that has been placed upon me." The whispers seemed to swirl around her, as if the very air was alive with their presence. The curse is strong, young one. To break it, you must prove your worth. You must pass the test of the ancients. Nia swallowed hard, her fear threatening to overwhelm her. But she knew she couldn't turn back now. What must I do? The whispers grew softer, almost soothing, as they answered her question. You must face the darkness within. Only by confronting your deepest fears will you find the key to breaking the curse. With those cryptic words, the whispers faded, leaving Nia alone in the silent forest. She didn't know what the test of the ancients would entail, but she knew she had no choice but to continue. With her heart pounding and her hair trailing behind her, she ventured deeper into the forest of whispers, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Deeper and deeper into the forest, Nia walked, the trees closing in around her like giant sentinels. The air grew thicker and the light dimmer, until it felt as though she was walking through a world of shadows. Every step was a challenge, every sound a potential threat. But Nia pressed on, her determination outweighing her fear. The whispers had promised her a way to break the curse, and she knew she had to find it, no matter the cost. Suddenly the path before her opened into a small clearing. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient tree, its trunk gnarled and twisted, its roots spreading out like the tentacles of some great beast. The tree was unlike any Nia had ever seen, its bark glowing faintly with a soft, ethereal light. As Nia approached the tree, she felt a strange energy pulsing through the air. It was as if the tree was alive, watching her, waiting for her to make the first move. Suddenly, the tree began to speak, its voice deep and resonant, echoing through the clearing. You have come far, young one, but your journey is not yet over. To break the curse, you must face the darkness within you. Nia's heart raced as the tree's words echoed in her mind. She had come this far, but now she was being asked to confront something far more terrifying than any physical danger, the darkness within herself. Look into the pool at my roots, and you will see the truth. Only by confronting what lies within can you find the key to breaking the curse. With trembling hands, Nia knelt beside the pool of water at the base of the tree. As she looked into the still, dark surface, she saw her reflection staring back at her. But as she gazed deeper, her reflection began to change. The face in the water twisted and warped, becoming a reflection of all her fears and doubts. The pool showed her the moments of weakness she had tried to forget, the times when she had doubted herself, the fears that had haunted her throughout her life. The reflection grew darker and more menacing, until it no longer resembled her at all. It was a twisted version of herself, full of anger, fear, and despair. This isn't me. But the tree's voice interrupted her thoughts, calm yet firm. It is a part of you, young one. We all have darkness within us, but it is not the darkness that defines us. It is how we choose to face it. Nia knew the tree was right. She had spent so much time fearing the curse, fearing the unknown, that she had forgotten her own strength. She had been running from her fears instead of facing them, and now she realized the only way to break the curse was to confront them head-on. Taking a deep breath, Nia reached out to touch the surface of the pool. As her fingers made contact with the water, the dark reflection began to dissolve, replaced by a vision of light. The fears and doubts that had plagued her faded away, and in their place, she saw herself as she truly was, strong, brave, and capable of overcoming any challenge. The tree's voice spoke once more, its tone gentle and reassuring. You have faced the darkness within, and now you are ready to continue your journey. Go forth, young one, and find the one who can break the curse. The path is still long, but you have taken the first step. With renewed strength, Nia rose to her feet. The weight of the curse still hung heavy on her, but now she knew that she had the power to overcome it. With one last look at the ancient tree, she continued on her journey, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As Nia journeyed deeper into the forest, the whispers returned, guiding her toward the next stage of her quest. The path led her to a clearing where 3 ancient stone statues stood, towering over her like guardians of some long-forgotten realm. Each statue held a different object: a sword, a shield, and a key. The whispers grew louder, surrounding her like a shroud of mist. To pass the test of the ancients, you must choose wisely. Each path leads to a different fate. Nia studied the statues, her mind racing. The sword symbolized strength and bravery, the shield protection and defense, and the key wisdom and understanding. Each choice felt heavy with significance, as if the fate of her entire journey depended on this decision. Nia, thinking to herself, "Which path should I choose? What will help me break this curse?" After a moment of hesitation, Nia reached out and chose the key. She felt a surge of energy course through her, as if the very air around her had come alive with magic. The whispers fell silent, and the ground beneath her began to tremble. The statues slowly shifted, revealing a hidden staircase that led deep into the earth. "You have chosen wisely. The key will unlock the truth you seek. But be warned, truth is not always easy to accept." With a deep breath, Nia descended the staircase, her heart pounding in her chest. The air grew colder with each step, and soon she found herself in a vast underground chamber, lit by a soft, glowing light. In the center of the chamber stood a large, ancient door, covered in intricate carvings that seemed to tell a story. As Nia approached the door, she felt a strange connection to it, as if it held the key to her past and her future. With trembling hands, Nia inserted the key into the lock. As the door slowly swung open, she was greeted by a vision that took her breath away. Inside the chamber was a vision of her ancestors, standing tall and proud. They looked at her with eyes full of wisdom and sorrow, as if they carried the weight of the curse that had been passed down through generations. Ancestor Spirit, you have come far, child, but to break the curse, you must understand the truth of our past. Nia's heart ached as the spirit spoke, revealing the story of her ancestors' broken promise to the spirits of the land. They had once been protectors of the forest, but in their arrogance they had taken more than they were given. The curse was a result of their actions, a punishment for their betrayal. To break the curse, you must restore the balance that was lost. You must make amends for the mistakes of the past. Nia felt a deep sadness wash over her as she realized the weight of her task. But she also felt a renewed sense of purpose. She would not let the mistakes of the past define her. She would find a way to restore the balance and break the curse once and for all. With a determined heart, Nia left the chamber and continued on her journey, the knowledge of her ancestors guiding her steps. She knew that the final confrontation was drawing near, and she was ready to face it. As Nia journeyed further into the heart of the forest, the path grew more treacherous. The trees seemed to close in around her, their branches twisting and reaching out like claws. The air grew colder and the whispers more intense, as if the forest itself was trying to warn her of the danger ahead. Finally, after what felt like hours of walking, Nia reached a clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a figure cloaked in darkness, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. This was the source of the curse, the one who had been controlling it all along. "So, you have come at last, child. Do you think you can break the curse that has bound your family for generations?" Nia's heart pounded in her chest as she faced the dark figure. But she knew that she could not let fear control her. She had come too far to turn back now. "I will break the curse. I will restore the balance that was lost." The dark figure laughed, a cold, hollow sound that echoed through the clearing. "You think you can defeat me?" The curse is more powerful than you can imagine. It has been growing for generations, feeding on the darkness within your family. You cannot hope to overcome it. But Nia stood her ground, her voice steady and strong. I may not be able to do it alone, but I am not alone. My ancestors are with me, and the spirits of the land are with me. Together, we will break the curse. With those words, Nia felt a surge of power within her. The spirits of the land, the ancestors, and the strength she had found within herself all came together, forming a barrier of light that surrounded her. The dark figure recoiled, its power weakening in the face of Nia's resolve. But it was not defeated yet. You may have the strength of your ancestors, but that is not enough. To truly break the curse, you must give up something of great value, something you hold dear. Nia's heart sank as she realized what the dark figure meant. The curse was tied to her hair, the very thing that had been both her blessing and her curse. To break it, she would have to sacrifice the one thing that had defined her for so long. With a heavy heart, Nia reached for the knife she had carried with her throughout her journey. She knew what she had to do. As she lifted the blade to her hair, she felt a deep sense of loss, but also a sense of peace. This was the final step, the sacrifice that would restore the balance and break the curse. As the last strand of hair fell to the ground, the dark figure let out a scream of defeat. The curse was broken, and the dark energy that had plagued Nia's family for generations dissolved into the air, carried away by the wind. Nia stood in the clearing, her hair now short and free from the curse. She felt lighter, as if a great weight had been lifted from her shoulders. The forest around her seemed to come alive, the trees whispering words of gratitude, and the spirits of the land celebrating the return of balance. With the curse finally broken, Nia returned to her village, her heart filled with a mix of relief and sadness. She had sacrificed a part of herself to break the curse, but in doing so, she had found a strength she never knew she had. The villagers gathered around her, their fear replaced with awe and respect. They had witnessed the power of the curse, and now they saw the power of Nia's courage and determination. The elders, who had once doubted her, now bowed their heads in gratitude. You have done what we could not. You have restored the balance and broken the curse. You are a true hero, Nia. Nia smiled, but she knew that she was not the only hero. The spirits of the land, her ancestors, and even the village itself had all played a part in her journey. She had learned that true strength comes not from physical power, but from the connections we share with others. As the sun set over the village, Nia stood at the edge of the forest, her heart full of hope for the future. She knew that her journey was not over. There would always be challenges to face and lessons to learn. But now she was ready to face them, knowing that she had the strength to overcome anything that came her way. And so, Nia's journey came to an end. The curse that had once threatened to consume her was now gone, and in its place, she found a deeper understanding of herself and the world around her. She had faced her fears, made sacrifices, and learned the true meaning of strength and courage. This story is not just about breaking a curse. It's about the power of determination, the importance of community, and the strength that lies within each of us. Nia's journey reminds us that no matter how difficult the path may seem, we have the power to overcome any challenge if we believe in ourselves and in the people who support us. As Nia stood in her village, surrounded by her family and friends, she knew that she had found her place in the world. Her hair may have been short, but her spirit was stronger than ever. And in that moment, she knew that she was ready for whatever the future held. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed Nia's story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who love magical tales with powerful messages. Until next time, remember, true strength comes from within.